Okay, good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday. Thanks for jumping on to our live stream. We do these every Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern time, and we talk about Collab Mortgage Franchise. And you might be wondering, what is that? What is that? What does that even mean? When you think of franchise, of course, you immediately think of some type of restaurant, right? Subway, McDonald's. But when you really look at franchising, I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it covers everything from professional services, accounting, tax prep, and all the way through restaurants. It just happens to be more common in restaurants. Now, in the mortgage space, believe it or not, franchising is very common in Canada. It's very common in Australia. It hasn't made a big splash or hasn't made a big impact in the United States yet, largely because of our quickly evolving compliance landscape. But that's changed, right? There is a large company doing franchising in the mortgage space right now, so we know that's a proof of concept. I, of course, would say that it's, I'm a little bit biased, of course, but we do it a little bit better because we do a lot more hand-holding, and we're more of a local, hands-on type company. So Megan Marsh is the founder of the company. She usually does these lives with me on Friday afternoon, but she is actually speaking today. So it's just me, and I want to share the concepts or the overall structure of how this works, what it looks like, and why a real estate company might want to consider this. And and by the way, we don't do this just with real estate companies. We can do this with loan officers that are ready to go out on their own, start their own mortgage company. I was just on a call about an hour ago with a gentleman in Southern California, retail loan officer that's going out on his own, starting his own Collab franchise. But we're here to talk about the real estate broker owner community because in this specific live stream. And here's why this fits so well within that model. You know, think about the real estate world, right? Real estate agents, the brokers, owners of the companies, they generate the business, they generate the leads. But then they automatically, right? What's one of the first questions to the buyer is, are you pre-approved? You're not? Great, I've got a guy. And you refer that mortgage lead out to your local mortgage company or your bank. And that's all well and good. That's worked well for as long as I've been in the mortgage industry, for 30 years, and it makes sense. The problem is, this is where the problem comes in, is you're referring that revenue out with that lead, right? The loan officer deserves to get paid for a job well done. We get that. But you're referring the revenue outside of commissions, there's revenue. You're referring that out when you refer it down the street. Why not keep that, or at least keep a large percentage of it in-house? Since you're taking the risk, you're generating the leads, you're doing the work to bring that client to the table, why refer it out? Maybe keep it in-house. So traditionally, I want to back up a little bit. Traditionally, we've had these mortgage partnership relationships, right? And I've been involved in a number of these. I've started a few of these myself, where it's a desk rental agreement, it is marketing agreements, MSAs, event sponsorships, we contribute to lead purchase costs. I mean, all the ways that we partner up with individual real estate companies. And, you know, the joint ventures, right, to go to the next level, the joint ventures have typically been reserved only for the larger companies. I don't need to name who they are. We all know who they are. But to be able to really participate in ownership of a mortgage company, historically, it's only been for the larger companies. Well, why is that? So it's for a couple of reasons, really. It can be very capital intensive, right? It's deep pockets to invest and start up a mortgage company. The other thing is, it just takes a great deal of risk and effort to build it, right? That's changed, right? That's changed there are other companies doing this, but Collab has built a system that consists of proven systems. We've brought in the experience, And we can roll this out in a very cost-efficient, cost-effective manner and actually make this a big win for the clients too. So it's a win-win-win when you really do this the right way and with the right teammates. So what does that really look like? Well, and by the way, let me back up a little bit. When I say it's a win-win-win, it's a win for the real estate company, it's a win for the mortgage company, it's a win for the client. And that's the most important thing, because when it's a true in-house venture, a true in-house partnership with a real estate company, the communications is consistent. The teammates are all working for the same team and the same goal. Because, and more importantly, because we're splitting this revenue up with fewer people, it's more cost effective for the client too. So some people will assume that in this type of arrangement that it actually makes it more expensive for the client. And that's simply not the case. So if you're a real estate company broker owner, or if you're a large team looking to get into the mortgage business, by far, this is the best model that I believe that I've seen thus far. So just looking at my notes here, I want to cover a few other things. We talked about the proven systems and the team. So CoLab Franchise was founded by Megan Marsh and Andre Munar, both of which have 20 years in the mortgage industry. And step back several years, Megan had founded several of her own mortgage companies and even has founded a commercial mortgage brokerage, right? So with that experience in opening mortgage companies, she got a lot of questions from her friends and colleagues about how to do this, how to correctly set up the company formation, how to correctly set up licensing, what roadblocks to look out for, how to correctly set up for compliance. And so she got so many of these questions because she was seen as a leader in the space. She created an online course. And you can still buy the course today. It's online. You can find it at collablending.com. But even still, she found there were still a lot of questions. So the online course, there's just so much that go into this. The online course does not cover all of the detail needed to stand up your own mortgage company. So that's when she pivoted to the franchise model. Because what that does is that allows you, real estate company owner, that allows you the ability to own 100% of the shares of said mortgage company while leveraging the experience of the platform and the individuals that have the experience in the mortgage industry. They provide the platform and you benefit from owning the company. So I mentioned Megan and Andre each have 20 years of experience. I'm nearly 30 years in the mortgage industry. Other people on the leadership team, Eric Varner, Danny Gonzalez, each have well over 10 years of experience. So there's 80, 90 years of experience there for people that will help from every corner of the mortgage industry platform to make sure that you're protected and the mortgage company is set up in the right way, so that you, real estate company owner, can focus on driving business, generating leads, supporting your agents, and you can take advantage of that mortgage revenue that you've traditionally referred out to the mortgage company down the street. We talk a lot here about the various impact areas. So what does that really look like? What are we actually doing within that platform? And that's we can get into great detail on a one-off, a custom call, but the broad strokes of this is we are covering everything from business formation, licensing, lender and vendor sign up, lender and vendor maintenance, accounting, HR, payroll, marketing. We provide marketing support both in print and digital services for all of our franchisees. We are also covering business development and training. So we do bi-monthly business development, sales training calls for all of our franchisees. And think about that standpoint. If you're a branch manager, you're a sales leader, you'll need to develop content for your monthly sales meeting or your bi-weekly sales meeting, however you structure this. And From what I've read, for a good, effective sales meeting, you need to invest at least 2 hours in content development for 1 hour of meeting. So we provide that sales meeting in a box, the business development training, so you don't have to spend all that time developing all that content. The other thing is we do ongoing product training, right? Who's the new greatest lender that's available? Who's got the best pricing right now? What guidelines should we be changes should we be considering going forward? So truly, and I've just sort of scratched the surface about what Collab does around helping you set up a mortgage company platform that you own. I've just scratched the surface. So we can go into a lot of detail. And what I recommend for people, if there's even just a little bit of interest, I'd suggest getting on a call. You can message me anywhere on social media, send me an email, whatever it is, connect on a quick call. And within 15, 20 minutes, we can figure out if this is even a fit for your organization or for you. And if we spend 45 to 60 minutes, I can do a detailed pro forma showing you what the upside looks like and showing you what the upfront cost investment is and how quickly this company can become profitable. Because I always talk about two things that are the key impact areas when you talk about how quickly this company can become profitable. And it's really about two things. It's about the loan officers involved, right? And it's also about capture, right? How much of that mortgage business within your real estate business are you able to capture? And based on my experience in recruiting and based on my experience in business development over the years, it's certainly something I help all of our franchisees with at a very deep and personal level. So again, if you want to book that call, please feel free to just send me a DM here. You're probably watching this on LinkedIn, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn, send me a DM, and I'd be honored to set up a quick 15, 20-minute introductory call. So here's something I like to discuss too. There's really, when you're setting up a platform for a mortgage company, no matter what industry you're in right now, there's 3 ways to do that. You can either A, invest your own time, right? None of this is really difficult. It's just a lot of detail and a lot of information. And think about the hundreds of hours it's going to take you to set up this platform. I talk to good friends right now who have opened their own mortgage company, their own mortgage brokerage, and to a T, they say that if they could go back, they would have enrolled a third-party company to help them do this rather than really figuring out on their own. So you can do it on your own. The other thing is you can hire somebody to do this, but think about all those 8 impact areas that I'd mentioned earlier. You'd have to have somebody that's skilled in each one of those areas and experienced and skilled in the mortgage industry to do that. That's going to be a highly compensated position. So you could hire somebody to do that. But the third option and the most cost-efficient option of the 3 is to outsource it to a company like Collab. And quite frankly, I've looked at a few companies where you can outsource this. There's not a company out there that does it to the level of detail and the amount of hand-holding and customization as Collab. So we've got a system, we've got a platform, we've got the experience. We have the access to the professionals in every one of those impact areas that you would have to get the support and the comfort knowing that your company's set up correctly from day one. Audit prep is, I don't even believe I mentioned that earlier, but that's another one of our impact areas. A lot of times the biggest mistake that new mortgage company owners make is that they deal with audit in the rearview mirror. Right? We all know that audits are an eventual part of our business. And I've a number of company owners that I've talked to get that audit letter 1, 2, 3 years in. And then they're going back to make sure that they've got all the right reports and audit features ready for the auditor to come in. We help you set that up day one so that you're not having to rebuild these reports after the fact, right? So with that, and please feel free to drop any questions here in the chat. If you're watching this on the recording, which I've spoken to a number of people that find this on YouTube, they're watching this recording of the StreamYard, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to assist in any way. I'm happy to do a custom analysis to see if this makes sense for you and your real estate company. And by the way, I did mention this early on, but if you join midway, we talk a lot about doing this in partnership with real estate companies just because it makes a lot of sense. We do this with loan officers, with branch managers. We've done this with builders. The gentleman I was just in a meeting with an hour ago is a mortgage loan officer who wants to go off on his own. He's currently working for a large retail company and wants to create his own path. And the end result is him having his own company with his own brand. He's going to be able to keep more of the revenue for himself and provide better rates for his client. That's just part of the package. If it sounds too good to be true, we all know what they say about something that sounds too good to be true. Just let's connect. Let's do a 15-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute initial call, and I can prove to you mathematically that it makes sense for all parties involved, especially your client. And it gives you the opportunity, whether you're a loan officer or company owner, real estate company owner, to increase revenue and build legacy, right? We talk a lot about building in the mortgage industry. We talk a lot about building a book of business, and then that's something we can sell down the road or transfer to another person when we're ready for retirement. That's all well and good, and that can work if it's done correctly, but it's not truly a saleable asset. When you own a company, it's a saleable asset. We have individuals we're talking to right now that, or an individual that I'm thinking about in the Southeast that is my age. He's in his 50s. He's thinking about legacy. What is going to happen? He's working for a bank right now, but what is going to happen to my book of business when I retire? His son is getting into the mortgage industry. He's got 10 to 20 more years that he wants to work. So what he's doing is he's creating his own company, bringing his son into that company so that when dad does decide to retire, it's all wrapped up in a neat little bow. It's legacy, a legacy company for his son. So thank you for watching this live. If you're watching the recording, thank you for taking the 17 minutes to spend with me. I'm grateful, and please do reach out if you even just have a quick question or if you want to do that custom analysis. Thank you.